You're probably wondering, man, J-Snap, man, what's up? No pension videos recently? The pension apocalypse is happening slowly but surely across the country. And it wasn't that long ago I told you guys about one little issue with pensions in Kentucky. And if I recall, I think I said, yeah, don't worry, they'll probably stick it to the taxpayers like they, usually do. Zero hedge. Kentucky Republicans cave on pension reform and stick it to taxpayers with the kick the can down the road approach instead. After months of planning over how to address the failing public pension systems in their state, which are somewhere between $40 and $80 billion underwater, Governor Matt Bevin and the leaders of the General Assembly's Republican majorities released their plan earlier today, and it appears to be nothing more than the same old kick the can down the road approach to pension reform that has perpetuated the pension Ponzi in this country for decades while doing absolutely nothing to address the actual crisis. Here is a summary of the plan, courtesy of the Courier Journal. Note that aside from putting new teachers into a 401k style defined contribution plan, the Republican proposal does pretty much nothing else except demand that more taxpayer dollars be diverted to service failing pension plans. Here's a summary of the plan. Oh wait, already said. Oh, what the? You said that, man. So here's the highlights. There is no increase in the full retirement age for current workers. There will be no reductions in pension checks for retirees, and it protects health care benefits for them. Future non-hazardous employees and teachers will be required to enroll in 401k style plans. Hazardous duty employees, such as police officers and firefighters, will continue in the same system they are in now. The plan would close a loophole to ensure payment of death benefits to families of hazardous employees. The plan would stop the defined benefits plan for all legislators, moving them into the same plan as other state employees under the jurisdiction of Kentucky retirement systems. What do we got? Not surprisingly, Governor Bevin, who as a politician, is worried not so much about the long-term solvency of his state's pensions as he is about getting through the next election cycle, said the plan, quote, will be a model for this nation as it keeps the promise to public workers and delivers on his promise to do it is legally and morally right. Legally and morally right to who? The taxpayers or the pensioners? Oh, okay. Just to get his vote in, of course, get him voted back in. In reality, of course, Bevin's plan does nothing to keep any promise and simply delays the inevitable collapse of a Ponzi scheme that will eventually buckle from a wave of retiring baby boomers who have been sold a lie for decades. I've been telling everybody this for years. The Roman Empire had a pension system. The Roman Empire, 2,000 years ago. Yes, that system had a pension system. The Romans had a pension system. Put in 20 years and you go to... That's what we got today. And they couldn't pay for it then. And that's why they expanded and warred and took over lands and etc. And it came collapsing down. They couldn't afford it. And we won't be able to do it either. But this guy wants to get reelected, and that's all that matters for him. Just as a quick reminder, Bevin, below is a recap of the changes that his own pension consultants told Kentucky's Public Pension Oversight Board why would be required to save the pensions in his state, suggestions that he seemingly dismissed in their entirety. An independent consultant recommended sweeping changes Monday to the pension systems that cover most of Kentucky's public workers, creating the possibility that lawmakers will cut payments to existing retirees and force most current and future hires into 401k style retirement plans. If the legislature accepts the recommendations, it would effectively end the promise of a pension check for most of Kentucky's future state and local government workers and freeze the pension benefits of most current state and local workers. All of those workers would then be shifted to a 401k style investment plan that offers defined employer contributions rather than a defined retirement benefit. PFM also recommended increasing the retirement age to 65 for most workers. The 401k style plans would require a mandatory employee contribution of 3% of their salary and a guaranteed employer contribution of 2% of their salary. The state also would provide a 50% match on the next 6% of income contributed by the employee, bringing the state's maximum contribution to 5%. The maximum total contribution from the employer and the employee would be 14%. For those already retired, the consultant recommended taking away all cost of living benefits that state and local government retirees received between 1996 and 2012, a move that could significantly reduce the monthly checks that many retirees receive. For example, a government worker who retired in 2001 or before could see their benefit rolled back by 25% or more, PFM calculated. The consultant also recommended eliminating the use of unused sick days and compensatory leave to increase pension benefits. Let me give you an example. I would love this one. The police do it, the firefighters do it, the teachers do it, the government workers do it, everybody does it. Ready? They're on a 20-year pension, let's say, right? Typical. And on that 20th year, or whatever the final year is, in other words, for their pension, they save up all the sick days. They save up all the leave. They save up all the extra work they can do, all the extra overtime they can put in, all the extra side jobs and stuff they can do, so that they can make the most money they've ever made pretty much their entire life in that final year. They're going to make the most money in any year that final year, because their pension benefits will be based upon the most money they've ever made. And they'll get a certain percentage of it, many times increasing it significantly, such as someone making $80,000 all of a sudden able to make 100 and something, a little over $110,000, sometimes $120,000 in that particular example. So they have the attitude of, I'm going to get mines as much as I can. Everybody else does it, I'm going to do it. And then come crying to everybody else when the pension's not there, the government promised them, yada, 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 yada. And on top of that, because they do have a point to an extent, they do. But on top of that, the pension in itself needs 8% returns every single year in order to do good, to keep, quote unquote, solvent. And we find that they pretty much never do. In a few years of sub 8%, 6%, 5%, 3%, ooh, 4, that hurt. They got to make up for it. So now they need more than 8% to make up for the difference, and that's not happening. So they're screwed on both sides. They're screwing themselves and other pensioners by taking the most they can. It's my money and I need it now. How that system's even allowed, that's the other issue. You should never allow a system that allows that kind of, abuse, but they do. So taxpayers are going to take care of this one. It's on the House. All of which reminds us, once again, of how we once summed up public pensions in this country. Defined benefit pension plans are, in many cases, a Ponzi scheme. Current assets are used to pay current claims in full, despite insufficient funding to pay future liabilities. Classic Ponzi. But unlike Wall Street and corporate Ponzi schemes, no one goes to jail here, because the establishment, i.e. the government and all the supporting subsets of it, are complicit. Everyone from government officials to union bosses are incentivized to maintain the status quo. Public employees get to sleep better at night thinking they have a retirement plan. Public legislators get to be reelected like the old governor by union membership while pretending their states are solvent. See, keyword, pretending their states are solvent, and union bosses get to keep their jobs while hiding the truth from employees. And then it all blows up one day, but not before squeezing the taxpayer a little more, Okay, we're squeezing them to death and then we're still in trouble. Okay, now it's time to deal with the pension problem. By that time, you've been reelected again, a second time, maybe even a third time. Governor and other employees like at the top level, they're going to get their little retirement package. They're going to do real well. Because see, while they were in charge, in office, they were getting campaign contributions, and they were quite hefty. So he doesn't need a pension. He doesn't need a retirement package. He's been getting it year after year after year by doing what Clintons have been doing, pay to play. So as long as he maintains that position, getting reelected, he can continue getting paid to play. Oh, you need a favor? You need a little lobbyist? No problem. Got you taken care of. Well, yeah, no, you got it. Just keep filling my back pocket with campaign contributions. Until he has so many that when he retires, he gets to keep whatever's left over if he didn't use it during campaigning. He gets to keep it all. And there's a flipping war chest that he gets to keep, he or she. Meanwhile, you and I then have to deal with the problem. And then the new governor says, well, pick me, vote for me. What are you going to do about our pensions? Honestly, I'm going to have to fix it. It's not going to be pretty. We're not voting for you. Next guy. And the next guy will come in and lie right to their faces. Yes, I'll fix it. I'll do everything that I can. I'm here for you guys. I love you. Vote for me. Okay, then he gets in office and says, well, thanks for voting for me, but I got to be real here. I was talking crap to you. There's no way I could fix this like that. You're getting cut, raising the age limit. We're doing this. Sorry about your luck. That's how that goes. And then the people are furious. We ain't voting him in for a second term. But it doesn't matter because he already made the changes. And then the next guy that comes in isn't going to undo the changes. He may say he is. Vote for me. I'll do it. But then he ain't. And then the people will finally realize after years of this, oh, well, let's just pick the next best guy who we think is going to do good. Our pensions aren't coming back. They're not doing anything. We're screwed. And that's around this time you need to tell yourself, hopefully you had a nice little nest egg saved up, maybe some cryptos or something that did real well, so you don't have to be affected by this freaking crap. That's my goal. Get out of debt, pay everything off that I can pay off, so that when I retire, I don't care if I'm living on Social Security. I'm good, because I've got my little war chest, so to speak, sitting over here. And it wasn't from 401k, it wasn't from pension, it was me using my freaking brain, finding things, sharing it on YouTube, and hopefully we're all going to make a killing. So far, we're doing pretty well. But let's see what the next year brings, etc. Take care.